So, how's the Josh? Low, low. How's the Josh? Better, better. Good. So that's what we are looking for. I think after lunch, it's the second session after lunch. Uh, our time was initially 45 minutes, already reduced to 30 minutes. I know we have India semi-final match today evening, and we have awards evening here as well, so we won't take too much of your time. I've got wonderful panel here. It was supposed to be two females as well, but now it happens to be an all-male panel. In fashion, ideally it should not be the case, but that's how it is. So we have to deal with that. Our topic is disrupting fashion. I don't think we are going to disrupt anything. We'll all sit here, at our seats, not disrupt too much of thing. But what these brands and these founders are doing, they are actually disrupting the fashion landscape in the country. D2C is a very big buzzword we all talk about. I was just discussing with Abhinav, there are 40,000 odd D2C brands in the country. Lots of them are still coming in. It's a big market. We have recently come up. I work with a consulting and a research company, so it's my job to throw up some numbers up to you. Retail market in India is roughly $1 trillion out of the 3.4 or 3.5 or $1 trillion out of $3.5 trillion economy. 30% is retail. 90% of that is offline. D2C market in FY23 was around about $17 billion in the country, and it's growing at a staggering rate of 38 odd percent. Will become 65 to $70 billion in 4 years' time. So it's a pretty significant market. It's attracting a lot of investment. On last 4 years, it has attracted $4 billion investment, the D2C brands. There are three major categories within D2C. Food and grocery is the biggest share, 37 odd percent. Then comes fashion, which is 26% of the D2C fashion D2C brands, and then is BPC. So these three categories between food and grocery, fashion, and BPC are almost 80% of the total D2C brands in the country. This market, as I said, is growing. So we are going to focus more on the fashion, which includes apparel, accessories, footwear, leather products, and the likes. So I've got very nice panel with me. So I'll start with Abhinav, with you. You have, you represent GoQuick, and you do a lot of, you enable the D2C brand, and your company has been doing it for many years now. So how have you seen the evaluation of D2C brands, over the years, and what's the role enablers are playing, and how easy or how difficult it is now to start a D2C brand?
Sure. I'll just quickly start with introducing myself, right? Hi guys, I'm Abhinav Midda. I represent a company called GoQuick. As mentioned, that we help D2C brands, or we enable them in their growth. Just answering your question now. See, when we started GoQuick almost about 4 years back, D2C was just starting, right? There were people who knew that online shopping is going to happen. They don't know how to make it happen, right? Where do I create my website? How do I optimize the website? How do I scale? We have seen brands come to us at, let's say 4 years back, who were doing probably struggling to do 100 transactions in a month. Now they are at 1,000 a day, right? That's the speed of, in the last 4 years, that's how D2C has evolved. In the last 4 years, probably when we started, D2C would have been, as you rightly said, about 3,000-4,000 brands, to close to 40,000 brands right now. The role that we as enablers play is we want the brands or the brand owners to focus on their main product, which is, if it's in case of fashion, which is your own product, your textile, your garments, whatever you want to make, right? Technology is a very different play. It requires a very different expertise. We want to take care of the complete technology part and say, hey, we will take care of this. Why don't you build your own base, right? We enable you to start. Today, if you look at it, you can start an online website in a day. You can start selling your brand in a day online, right? It's that easy, right? So what we want to do is to enable all these brands and say, you focus on your core and let us take the rest, right? So I think that ways the D2C ecosystem has grown at a very rapid pace. There are a lot of enablers like us. We help the brand optimize in terms of their checkout, right? Today, checkout is a very big problem. Trust is a very big issue when it comes to buying online, right? Do people, when there are, as I said, 40,000 websites, where do I buy from? Which website should I buy? Which should not buy? Will this stuff actually get delivered to my house, right? In India, if you look at it, cash on delivery is like a 60-70% market, right? People are scared to order. So as enablers, as technology, we provide brand with that intelligence, with that layer of trust, which helps them to scale their brands. So we take care of all these important layers so that these brands can focus on their core, which is their product, and we focus on our core. And as a partnership, we help each other grow. That's, I think, largely the role. I can go very deep, but I think it'll take a lot of time. So in the interest of time, I will probably pass the question. Yeah.
Thanks, Abhinav. Aditya, coming on to you, you are probably among the oldest D2C brands, in terms of time, and you are still bootstrapped, and we were just discussing. So, how has the journey been for you? Because you started, I think, around about 10 years back. You must have seen, COVID, pre-COVID, post-COVID, during COVID, and everything. And what are the key learnings? What have you learned, and what can the audience learn? If somebody's wanting to start a D2C brand or is in their early journey, what they can learn maybe from you and from your company and your experience.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for the question and thank you for the audience for being here. I know it's after lunch and everybody's a little bit groggy, but I'd like try to make it as interesting as possible. So, if I have to sum up my 10 years of journey with Campus Sutra, founding it and, bringing it to where it is, I would say that we were in a 400 square feet. We started in a 400 square feet office. लोग बोलते थे उसमें भूत रहता है. It is a haunted building. So, and it was available for 8,000 rupees month ka rent, and it was in the middle of Bangalore. And uske baju wala building was 40,000 rupees a month. So we took that call. We started from a haunted building which was 400 square feet, and in 10 years we've been able to build 200,000 square feet space of warehouse. We are one of the biggest bootstrap D2C brand in the country. We've done it all bootstrap without any external funding. We are available in about 300 outlets across India through Shopper Stop, Lifestyle, and other LFS. And we are also available in 26 countries, including all of Europe, US, Canada, and Middle East. So to sum it up, we became Atma se Atmanirbhar. So basically the slogan of India. So we started with Atma and we became Atmanirbhar. So that's our journey, a small, in summation. And when it comes to key learnings, I would say that, the biggest takeaway in this 10 years that I've had is, a lot of people tend to focus on the front end. कि ये दिखता कैसा है, ये customer को कैसा दिखता है. While that is important, I think any founder should start at the back end, because back end is the most important thing. It starts from there. And if you want to build companies that last over decades, I think backend is the most important thing that you should build in. So, when we started, we may not be the best looking front end brand, but I can say that the backend that we built has been built brick by brick. So, and by backend, I would say that, when we started fashion, none of us came from a fashion background. So all of us were, tech graduates or computer engineers or, all the founders. So we had zero idea of fashion. So, and that was a good thing for us, because we started applying common sense कि कस्टमर को चाहिए क्या और उसको कैसे डिलीवर कर सकते हैं. हमारे पास कोई बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस नहीं थी. वी डिड नॉट इनहेरिट एनी बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस फ्रॉम द इंडस्ट्री. So, we went around building the backend in such a way that where we could deliver the customer what he needs in the new D2C age. So customer, in fast fashion terms, what does the customer need? He needs the product fast. He needs the product consistency, and he needs new design every day, for that matter. So, focusing on the front end, we were able to build 4 key capabilities within us. One is our mind to market is 21 days. So for example, if I like the shirt that you're wearing, I can bring it to the shop floor within 21 days. So usually the industry works in anything between 3 to 18 months and all of that. Second, we have an inventory turnover of about 45 days. So whatever inventory we have, we turn it around within 45 days, for that matter. So our capital efficiency is very good. Third, our sell-through is almost about 96-97%. Usually people operate at a 70-80% sell-through. And fourth, we are able to deliver a consistency of experience to the customer. From the first order to the 10th order, the experience is the same. So by focusing on that backend, we've been able to deliver these to the customer. And I think that is the key takeaway from me. That is the key learning, that when you build a business, I think focus on the back end. Front end, dheere dheere, it'll automatically come. So that is the key takeaway.
Thank you. Thanks, Aditya. I think this was the nichode of the 10 years. I completely agree with you. I personally, working with so many brands, I believe that actually the front end is sorted. There is consumer for everything in India. If you can sort out your back end, supply chain and all those things, you will be a successful brand for sure. Because, there is market for sure. How big and how fast is the only question. So thank you. One key learning for me, I think the audience may or may not want to carry, is that if you are starting a D2C brand, look for the nearest haunted place if you want to become a big company. Yeah. So coming on to Siddharth, to you, I mean, you represent a innerwear brand, men's innerwear brand, and which has grown very rapidly. The name is quite interesting as well. So how have you? Because as Abhinav also mentioned, it's not easy for a D2C brand to differentiate. Because there are so many of them, 30,000 websites. Kis pe jaएं, kyun jaएं? So how have you been able to differentiate and travel that journey that you are now Series C funded and doing pretty well in your category, and especially focusing on the sales and distribution part of it?
Thanks. So I think first I'll clarify what XYXX stands for. So XY is the male chromosome and XX is the female chromosome. So currently we are traversing the male version of the journey. In future we might get into women, but not in the near future, so as to say. Right now, coming to the category that we operate in, right? So when we started off this category, the clear thought was, how do we differentiate it from the incumbents in the market? And there is only one brand that comes to most men's mind when it comes to innerwear. I think they don't even go beyond that. And it's such a sticky product. It's not something you'll have a conversation with your peers or your friends, etc. So we said, okay, if it's such a difficult thing to get eyeballs on, then how do we do it? So we were very clear. So while we are here amongst a lot of D2C brands, we are not a D2C brand. We are a digital brand. We said it's a low ASP product, right? It's a very low involvement product. We need to be there where the distribution exists for this product. And at that point of time, distribution existed in two key areas. Obviously offline via the general trade route, which is 99. At that point of time, it used to be around 95% of the market. Currently, it's about 92% of the market. And the other was marketplaces, which was growing, and like it was growing in across all domains. Even innerwear was, or fashion was one category where marketplaces were growing. So we said, let's start from there. While we will build the D2C version of our own website in the as we tread along the journey, but that was not the initial focus for us. And I think in hindsight, we did a wise decision, because there have been innumerable players that have come up over the last few years, but everyone has been able to scale themselves only via either a marketplace or figuring out the distribution strategy. You cannot run a D2C channel by selling a 200 rupee ASP underwear or underwear online, or via your own website. And same was the thought process when it said ki whether we can do our own stores or something. Clearly, we understood that's not the right way to go ahead. But we did launch some stores, took the learning and paused that. And I think we quickly realized that maybe that is a journey when we have enough outerwear or that portfolio in our midst through which we can deliver a better AOV. We'll kind of traverse that journey. Now coming to brand building. So I will fast forward to beyond COVID, because that's where everything was just moving on its own. Largely, you just had to supply inventory, be available, and things were moving. In 2022, we said that how do we differentiate ourselves from the pool of D2C brands that have come up in this space? And we said that the incumbents typically rely on film stars or someone to brand their products, but that is not what the new age consumer would say be so comfortable with. So we said sports is something that the new age consumer relies on. So we onboarded KL Rahul as our ambassador. He's been with us for the last 3 years, and through him, we wanted to communicate an image that yes, it is okay for men to showcase innerwear. That's absolutely fine. And I think we got him to wear the underwear. I think he's the first celebrity to actually wear an underwear and do an ad in India, right? Previously, you would see all of them wearing vest or something and do ads, but he's the first guy to do it. And the thought process there was, if David Beckham could do it, why not he, right? So I think with that dot process, we kind of did that. Uh, and I think that was one inflection point that we saw. Moving forward 2 years, we said that, and how do we take it up a notch, right? And we said, now we need to focus on the different channels that we operate in, and how can we work with those channels to create the right BTL strategy or the right co-marketing strategies to make it work. And I think the relationships that we have built over a period of time with the different stakeholders across marketplace, offline, we are also there in modern trade, right? It's about working with them to figure out how to make you work, right? And it's, while people say digital is more number centric, etc., I will say in our category at least it's still more relationship focused. So if you are able to build good relationships, then you will be able to scale this channel well. So I think those are the learnings from my end.
Thanks, Siddhartha. Mohit, coming on to you, you represent a very important fashion brand, which women love, bags and all. So what kind of fashion trends have you seen, and how do you see Indian market, and what's the role? We were just discussing previously, that market is segregated, especially the bags market. So what are the trends you have seen, and how you adapted those trends to, to launch your brand and to grow your brand and to then differentiate as well?
Hi guys. I think customer as a whole is changing across tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities. They are looking for an aspirational products rather than just more mass products. So in fact, Miragio has been built on this entire learning and opportunity in the market, which is a clear-cut gap where aspirational handbags for women were not available. So we launched the brand in 2020 within a price bracket of 2,000 to 6,000 rupees, where aspirational products are being provided to consumers every month, and we are the only and first brand in India to be launching bags every month. Uh, Other few trends that we are noticing is that in the D2C landscape, where we're in a market where every month, every quarter, every year, you see something or the other new coming up. So a few of the trends that we have noticed is AR, VR as a technology that is coming in the online space. A lot of people wants to experience which they cannot experience otherwise in online, and then they have to go to offline. So that is one of the things. Second is personalization and customization is another thing that a lot of D2C brand is getting into. Gen Z as an audience wants to build more emotional connection and loyalty. So personalization and customization is another thing we're looking at. In fact, at Miragio also, we're trying to build something up to provide our consumers on these lines. Another thing that we are noticing is omni-channel strategy. Again, a lot of brands up until after COVID were saying, D2C is the only thing that would work, and you don't really need to go out in the stores. But I think people are stepping out again. A lot of brands have realized that omni-channel strategy is very, very important. Having a very seamless online and offline experience is a must for the brand growth. And it's consumer decision if they want to shop in offline or in online, but having both the options for the growth is very, very important. So I think we're in a landscape where things are changing that has never changed so fast, and every time we keep on seeing new trends, and as a brand we have built on an unconventional way of doing things, and I think we keep trying all of these things, and whatever test works out for us, we actually capitalize on it and make it a part of the brand. And otherwise, few of the trends are sort of fad and probably doesn't work for a lot of categories. So yeah, I think these are few of the D2C trends that I feel are trending right now and are essential for any D2C brand to bank on at this point in time.
How do you see your brands going into the future? I mean, Miragio, where do you see Miragio in next 2-3 years, considering the Indian scenario?
I think we see it as one of the only and largest aspirational handbag brand in India, and we want to make it a one-stop destination for fashion and lifestyle accessories for women. And we feel today the entire market is untapped in that space. We're the first movers, and I think we'll be the largest one in coming 2 to 3 years.
Great, great. So we have saved, Tabby for the last. He represents a bespoke luxury brand. I mean, he will talk. I mean, you would yourself want to talk about your brand and how it has evolved. You know, Tabby, for you, I think, you represent a brand which is into leather, all kinds of leather products, and when it comes to leather, sustainability, is an, you know, usual word which comes to the mind, and there are a lot of myths around about that. So I would like you to maybe, shed some light and hopefully, break some myths as well, regarding leather products and sustainability, and also talk about, personalization, luxury, bespoke, and all those things.
Hi, so I'm Tabi Bhatia from Brown and Bearskin. So we're trying to build one of the first Indian premium luxury brand. And when I say entering the premium luxury segment, we had to get into the kind of materials which would, justify the luxury side. And when I say luxury side, it's not just with the price, it's with the quality, it's with the longevity of the product. It's the emotion that stays along with the product in that emotion side. So while we were going through that premium luxury segment, we realized that leather is actually the only product and the only material which could give us that kind of a segment. And so I would give you as an example as a footwear. So leather was the only product which would contract and expand on your with your body heat as well. It is the only stretchable product. It is also the only recyclable product, and it is a typical byproduct. It is not a product that is, how the myth is that leather is a product which is made by after harming people or after harming animals. So to give you an example, like in Indian market, people eat chicken and the feathers of the chicken are getting wasted. No one's talking about it and no one's using about it. So leather in the same way, in some countries where meat is consumed, leather is like our feathers are wasted here, leather is wasted there, and it's a byproduct there. And hence we import it from there. Now, when I talk about leather as a material, there's no currently substitute for that material which can give us that kind of longevity and that kind of life to a product. It is almost like a painting that you probably get a good product and you can hang it around for decades to come and it won't get destroyed. So we tell people that if you buy a leather jacket, you wear it for 5 years, then you donate it to someone, it will stay with him for 10, 15 years. And even then, if you want to throw it, it will get recycled. So that's why that product itself was so important for us. And since we were trying to get into the luxury segment, the product had to have that kind of quality. So coming to personalization as well. So we use our USPs on patina finish. Patina is what we call as top layer coloring, which means that we make the product first and then we color it, which allows us to touch and achieve any kind of color shade at all. And since we deal in all categories, not just footwear, so that is footwear, that is travel bags, that is accessories like wallets, mobile cover, card holders. So we allow customers, and we let them create their unique color and their emotion color, and they can match their entire collection and entire combination in that same particular color shade. Because of this service, we actually nailed one of the historical events, which was the World Cup 2019, where Indian cricket team went to England for the World Cup, and they were carrying tan color backpack, tan color duffel bag, and tan color shoes, and a matching belt. All four categories they wanted in a one particular color shade, and because of patina, we could do that. We got that doors open, which was otherwise only open for international brands. An Indian origin brand could never get through that. Same way we did purple color bags for KKR, we did yellow color bags for Chennai Super King, and that's the kind of things. And the personalization is actually opened the doors for us. And like how Sir said that if you can set the backhand, if you can set the product, there is market for it in the country. And I totally believe that as soon as we entered that zone in that with the quality product, and while we were at the almost Indian average ASP is still 2000 to 4000 rupees, while our ASP was about 8 to 10,000 rupees. But you would not believe tier 2 cities have we have seen the kind of numbers that tier 2 cities are getting in that kind of price category as well. And that is because the world has really changed in the retail game. I mean, with Facebook, Instagram, fashion in America, which was last night worn by someone, tomorrow morning everyone in India gets to see it, and they want that product. They don't want to wait it like how earlier times it used to be कि अमेरिका में इस साल आएगा तो इंडिया में अगले साल वो फैशन में आएगा. अभी तो अगले दिन सुबह आएगा वो फैशन में. And with this service of personalization and customization, people could have that possibility of getting that product made from us even if we did not have that. And That is why we are also one of the only brands that launch almost every second or third day. We launch a new product which is actually got made for someone, and it is a demanded product that gets launched. It's not like something that we just designed and then gave it off. So customization, personalization has really, really helped us in that. And again, leather being one of the reasons of it, it is recyclable and everything. That's why we say it's most sustainable product as well.
Thanks, Debbie. So, in the interest of time, one quick question to maybe Abhinav and maybe to you, Aditya, and I open it up for others as well. See, technology is playing a very major role. That's where I think traditional brands are a little bit different than so-called D2C brands. Of course, channel everybody uses. So, and in fashion, there's a major role of technology. It's one of the major category which has emerged in online. We see these virtual trial rooms, endless aisles, and so many other things being come up. So, what role, Abhinav, you think technology has played at the front end as well as at the back end? In especially in the fashion value chain, and how it is going to evolve? What is the role, and how important D2C brands should be laying to this, especially at the start of their journey?
Correct. I think technology has played a very crucial part. Just look at both the options, right? Let's look at backend first. I think someone discussed, right? Omni-channel has become very, very important. Today, if I talk 3 years back, omni-channel was a good to have thing. I have it, I don't have it. But from an inventory planning perspective, especially fashion brand, which is the biggest challenge is how do I solve for inventory? And all of you who have offline stores, having a one single view of inventory is very, very important. So like something a big omni-channel has solved for. So something like that on the back end has become a must-have. Think about the front end. I think if you look at Lenskart, virtual try-ons, they've really solved it really well, right? Technology can be a bane and a boom. If you don't do it well, it can also react the other way. But I think that's something Lenskart has cracked very well. There are a lot of new experiments happening. I don't think it is evolved very well in complete fashion, let's say in the garment space, etc. There have been many experiments, but I definitely see that coming out very soon. So I think as D2C founders, we all need to keep trying. That's very important. Don't shoo that away. I'm sure there will be one technology which will fit each of us. So very important for that. Yeah.
My take is that, first of all, disruption is not done by us. We are not the people who are doing any disruption anywhere. Disruption is done by the customer. Their wants change, their needs change, and then technology matches to their wants. So customer को अगर 10-minute delivery चाहिए अभी, तो technology will be built anyhow to give him a 10-minute delivery. So that is how disruption essentially happens. So for example, when legacy brands get disrupted, it is not us who come and build. Although we come and build something, but end of the day, the customer is disrupting those legacy brands to buy us, right? So technology is a function of what the customer wants. So I am still at the ringside in terms of the front end, in terms of endless aisle, in terms of AI, because I haven't yet seen a product which there is a lot of promise, but in terms of I haven't yet seen a very, very beautifully built front end product which is actually making the difference to a customer from a customer's standpoint. At the back end, I have a completely different opinion because earlier when we started in our journey in our D2C through our own website, we used to be on Magento. And for Magento, running Magento, you need a village. You need 10 people to run Magento. Shopify came, it solved everything. For example, GoQuick, it's the biggest example of a homegrown brand, which is solving checkout so beautifully that, today, if you want to start a D2C brand, you can have Shopify, you can have GoQuick, and you can start a D2C brand, right? So technology is always an enabler, but the disruptor is always the customer. The customer is going to want something, and technology is going to build for it.
So thanks for the compliment, but I'll just ask this question, right? Does the customer really want? Does the customer really want a 10-minute delivery, or we said let's put in a lot of money and let's solve that problem?
We did overkill there, but when ab aadat lag gaya hai, so customer also did not want discounts, right? And e-commerce marketplaces started discounts. So you build. So the larger goal is that you want inventory to be closer to where you are. So the journey is not the right one, but it's something jo aadat pada di hai bas.
Sure. Yeah, Tabby, you wanted to
So,
quickly.
I would say keep Since lockdown, there is a very big new generation of online customers that have come on board. A lot of people like our father generation who never used to buy online. They were the typical, store retailer people who would go to the store and want to go buy, who would not understand कि कौन घर पे कोई चीज को मंगाएगा, वेट करेगा, अच्छा नहीं लगेगा तो वापस जाएगा और चेंज होके आएगा. But in lockdown, they were forced to use that experience because they had to get groceries at home and they would get to go. So when they got that experience down there, now their habits have changed and their expectations have changed. So omni-channel and technology now has to get complied with your brand and your D2C model to serve that clientage very well. Otherwise, वो लोग आपके पास retail पे पहले आ जाते थे, अब नहीं. अब they will tell their father, their kid or someone also to ये मेरे लिए order कर दे. If I don't like it, I'll get it changed or I'll get it sent or I'll go to the store and then get it changed. And with the increasing population, going from one place to another is also becoming an agenda. Like a city like Delhi, if your store is on the north of Delhi and you're staying in the west, going from one spot to another is an entire day plan. And this is where omni-channel is the solution, technology is the solution, giving them the suggestions and personalized consultations is going to be the future, I feel.
Thanks, Ravi. So as Aditya said, we don't disrupt. It's the consumer who disrupt, but you are the one who instigates the consumer to disrupt, right? You make that happen. And Abhinav, to what you mentioned, I think did the consumer really want and discounts and all those things. So there are other community to be blamed, which is the investor community, who was throwing that money and asking to scale up very quickly, and that led to a lot of those things. So thank you very much. I think we are about in time, just in time. Couple of questions, if you want. I think we should have time for those. It's a very interesting panel. If you
Yes, I think we can take 1 or 2 questions. Yes, this side.
Hello. Yeah. My question too is for Mohit Jain, Miragio. I have seen your brand since 2020. I have seen how you have grown. I have seen your social media. It's good. I have seen your quality of products really good. It's durable. But I can see, like, as a D2C brand, a scalability is always a reason to grow. So as per my research, I have seen that you are mostly reliable on the Chinese products or the foreign countries to produce a product. But in future, as I can see, there have also been rumors going on that India is investing on anti-dumping of PUC and
sir, please
PVC.
ask the question.
Yeah, it's a frame question, by the way.
Okay.
Okay. So as you can see, the Indian government is doing an anti-dumping on PVC and PU, and the complete product is depends on it. So how you are going to tackle this as a brand, and also there is also an extended question to it. How you will be able to get the quality, the finishing of the same thing that the current Miraggio is having?
So honestly, PU PVC ka kya hoga? We don't have an answer right now, and I don't see it happening anytime soon. It's not as easy as you think that tomorrow government will think and PU PVC will have anti-dumping. Second, in terms of finishing and finish, I think we have not just China as a country. There are multiple countries like Bangladesh, Myanmar, and even India we can manufacture. But there is a right time for every brand to focus on manufacturing and to be worried about manufacturing part of it. We're still a 3-year-old brand. We're just growing now, and there has to be a certain threshold or a benchmark where you start thinking about manufacturing. Of course, you need to have multiple partners to be working with, and you need to have that supply chain all sorted. And I think we have multiple countries that we are already exploring. But I guess if you see, every time there is some or the other alternate that anyway comes in. So we're seeing apple leather, or we're seeing cactus leather, a lot of things coming in. But I think it's a far-fetched story to be actually seeing the durability, stretchability, a lot of other things, look and feel of the product in those materials, and it comes with a cost. So I don't think it's so soon that's going to happen. And with given time, finishing and quality of the product is very, very important, and that is the reason we're not probably doing it in India, because of the infra is not available at this point in time. But we'll continue to sort of do research and actually build our own setup wherever it's required.
I would want to say one thing. Apple is also manufactured in China, Apple phones. So they are very good in quality. So it's not like the supply chain can be migrated in a second. It takes time, which is his point. So let's not, look down on products from different countries. I think it's a process. It will happen, but it takes time.
Any other question? Quick one. Okay. Otherwise, thanks.
All right, so
Thank you very
yes.
much.